Good morning, fifth graders. Today's assignment is going to be working on main idea and one part of affixes. The part of affixes that we will be working on is the suffix. Now, before we get started into those two assignments, if you have not listened and watched the story of the week, please go watch that. It is important for you to listen to that and get exposed to that story. You can also go back and listen to it again just to be exposed to it even more. Then, once you have listened to those stories, moving on to these assignments that I will show you. Main idea, we went over this last week. So the main idea is kind of the full topic of that story, or what it is talking about. The theme, maybe, is what you could say. Theme and main idea kind of go together. They're not the same thing, but they go together. When we talk about suffixes, suffixes are what are at the end of the word. Okay, we've already done prefixes quite a bit. Prefixes are at the beginning of the word. Suffixes are at the end of the word. Then we have a root of a word. The root of the word is the main word itself. So if I talk about sitting, sit would be the root, the main part of that word. ing would be the suffix. So in sitting, the suffix is ing, the root is sit. If I said batted, bat is the root, ed is the suffix. So I'm going to show you the suffix worksheet first. I'll present my screen for you to see here in 1 second. Okay, you should be able to see my screen now. So up here, I'll zoom in a little bit for you. It's not going to let me zoom in anymore. So up here it says an ending is the letter or letters added to the end of a base word. Base word is the same as a root. Recognizing an ending will help you figure out the word's meaning. So just like when we talked about prefixes, it'll help you understand the word. For example, miniature, mini is small. Also talking about reassembled. So assembled means put together. Re means to do again. So if you reassemble something, you would be putting together something again. On suffixes, it tells you a little bit different story of a word. So the ending s and es can be added to a singular noun to make them plural. So plural meaning more than one. The ending s, ed, and ing can be added to verbs to change the tense. The endings er and est can be added to adjectives to use them to compare. So the tense would mean if it was past, present, or future. And if we're comparing, that means you're taking two things and you're going to say what is like or what is different. So then you're going to come down here, you're going to read the following passage, answer the questions. So read this little blurb here. And your first question is, in the word fleeing, how does the word, or how does the suffix ing change the meaning of the root word? So right here they used root and base interchangeably. So don't let the word base or root confuse you. Base and root mean the same thing. Base word, root word is the main word itself. So the main word itself here would be flee. If you have the word flee, that would mean you're doing it right now, like go flee. That would be now or future. Fleeing is simply right now. The next one you have here is, what is the difference between the S in blunders and the S in makes. Now, I can't explain that to you right now because you're going to have to read this blurb, but it should tell you within here if you read the word blunders and makes. They're not going to be right next to each other, but they are in here. Next question, how does the ER change the meaning of the root in happier? Now, as you can see, happy is spelled Happy, and happier is Happier. IER is not necessarily a suffix, but we don't spell happier YER. Same thing as when I talked about batted. If I was talking about a singular bat, it would be BAT. If I was talking about a batted ball, that is BATTED. Just because we add the I or add the T does not mean that TED is the suffix or IER is necessarily the suffix. The suffix stays with ED or ER, so don't get the spellings confused. The ER is still the suffix. Same thing with ED. So it's asking if you are happy or happier, what is the difference when you put the ER there? Same thing here. How does the ED in hiked change the meaning of the root word? So you have the word hike and you have the word hiked. Okay. If you have any questions on this assignment, feel free to ask me at any time. I'm going to move on to the next worksheet right here about main idea. So main idea is, again, what the, well, I guess the main part of the story is trying to tell you, or what the kind of the guts of it, you know, the middle, or what you want to get out of it. So you need to read the passage again. And then right here it says, in a few words, what is the passage about? So that's pretty much what the main idea is. It's asking you what the story is about. Now, obviously they give you one line here, so you can't write a paragraph. So in one sentence, try and tell me what it's about. Now on this one right here, it says, what is the most important or main idea of the passage? So what is the main idea of the passage? That's going to be maybe a sentence or two now because they give you two lines. I would appreciate it if you use all the lines given to you. What is one important detail that tells more about the main idea? So if we think back to the Nearpod lesson that we were doing, the main idea is like a chair or a tabletop, the main part of it. So I have my desk right here. You can't see it, but this is the top of my desk. Everything on my desk is sitting on the top, but I wouldn't be able to have my desk right here without the legs, right? So the supporting details or important details would be like the legs of my desk. They are what support it and keep it up. So what it's asking is, what are the details in this story up here that help or support what you wrote here? So this and this should be related fairly closely in what they're talking about. Then this asks, what is another detail about the main idea? There are details that are maybe not as important as others, but they're still supporting details. So this one's asking, what do you think is the most important that would support the most? This one is, what is another detail? And down here, it asks you to write a summary. Now remember, a summary is like retelling what the passage was about in your words. Don't rewrite the passage because then that's just like copyright, and when you get older, we're going to come into those problems of plagiarism and whatnot, like we've talked about before in class. So remember, summary is a retelling in your words. If you have any questions on the assignments today, please feel free to jump into my Google Meet, call the school, or shoot me an email. Have a good day.